Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm so excited about today's episode. I wanted to bring you in on something that I've been thinking a lot about. I think there are several times in our lives that we wonder, what is that thing that every successful person has in common? I mean, there has to be something that most successful and happy people align with. As we were brainstorming on today's episode, the topic for this episode naturally revealed itself. That thing that every successful person has in common. What is that? Well, we thought that it was simple, but it was also in some ways very complex. Each of these people had a pivotal moment where it just took one decision to change their life. No matter who you are, no matter how you prepare, no matter what your process is, everything that you do, everything that you believe, and every action you take is building towards something. There will come a time when this pivotal moment occurs in our lives, and it's time for you to make a decision. But what will that decision be? Will you rise to the challenge, or will you choose to avoid it? Will you take a leap of faith, or will you play it safe? It could be something as simple as you board a flight, or you get in an Uber and you meet this certain person that ends up being important to you for the rest of your life. Even small, seemingly unimportant decisions play a huge role in our futures. So this is what today's episode is all about. What are the active decisions and the passive decisions that we make in our lives, and how do we make sure we are in control of them and that we recognize them? One of the first questions I asked was, who are some of these people that have navigated these simple or complex decisions and made them impactful? Like the story of a young boy who grew up in Michigan, he had always had an interest in how things work. He spent hundreds of hours trying to learn and understand everything he could about machines. His ambitions were so intense that when he was just 16, he had the opportunity to pursue his passion and move out of his parents' house. I kind of know the sound of that. But things weren't as clear-cut for him, and for several years after that, he worked his way through different jobs, learning more about his passion and finding ways to continue pursuing his dreams. There were plenty of ways for people to get around, but there hasn't been any major advances in that space for a long time. There was one thing that he knew. He knew he wanted to make a real difference in the world while finding success. This seemed like it was it. He ended up creating one of the most innovative machines of our time. This boy was Henry Ford, and the machine he built was the automobile. He changed the course of history because he knew himself enough and his own ambitions, and made the decision at 16 years old, not to only change his life, but to change the course of history. Choices matter, especially the ones that are difficult to make. Next is a story of a difficult decision and leap of faith that, while mocked by some, proved to be the right choice for a struggling college student. College students deal with a lot of stress and anxiety, especially if they grow up with lower income and or are working their way through school. This student received a scholarship to the university in Tennessee, and she wanted to make the most of it. While in school, she was given an incredible opportunity to take a job, but she would have to drop out of college. She was then at a crossroad. Sometimes in life, we are thrown an opportunity or an unfortunate situation that forces us all to make a confusing decision. We have to respond, and sometimes it feels like a lose-lose. These are the moments that shape us. We are in control of our choices, and these choices can be the difference. The student I'm talking about ended up choosing to leave her scholarship and pursue the job. This could have been disastrous, but she took the leap of faith and trusted her gut. Leaps of faith are scary, but that's why they are called leaps. This girl followed the opportunity to Chicago and created her own show, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and you know the rest. The point I want to make with these stories is that these people didn't wait to see how their life was going to turn out. They created their lives with themselves through their actions. This is what I have recently realized about myself. For a very long time, I was lost. I was just going through the motions. I was working jobs that I didn't particularly love. I was hanging out with people who didn't make me a better person. And I was waking up every day without a direction. And I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do with my life until I realized that life and my life is what I made of it. I guess you could say rock bottom is the foundation on which I built my own life. I am so grateful for the life I have, and every experience that I've been through has gotten me to where I am today. Those experiences, both good and bad, have shaped me into the person I am, and for that, I am grateful. If you want to hear more about this part of my story, I went through a lot of it in episode 1. I feel like life is about taking control. It's about taking control of your thoughts, and it's about taking control of your actions. You can either choose to evolve or repeat. And it took me a quarter of my life to discover that life is a do-it-yourself project. The truth is, nothing is perfect, but every decision you make matters. Don't put yourself in a position to be disappointed 5 years from now. Take action and take control of your life. Even if it's in a small way, maybe you aren't ready to change everything. Maybe you just need to take one step at a time. If you want to make a change, change your habits. If you want to change your habits to a healthier life, but you're not ready for a full 7-day gym routine, you can at least start by eating better and giving your body the fuel it needs. Then when you're ready to work out, you can be sure that you're going to fully maximize your time. This is why I use Live Body. It's the highest quality, most effective natural products out there because no one likes putting a bunch of junk and artificial sweeteners in their body. Live Body is all about fueling your body with natural ingredients to optimize your appearance, your health, your physical and mental performance. So go to livebody.com now and use promo code ComingClean for 20% off your order. Make sure you're ready to make that decision when the time is here. Order Live Body today. Again, that's livebody.com, livebody.com. Use promo code ComingClean. If you've listened to some of my earlier episodes, you'll probably know some of my story already. I was raised in a small town of 2,500 people. My mom and dad divorced when I was about 1 year old, which is where their custody battle started. My dad struggled with alcohol, and my upbringing was filled with many challenges. I could have thrown in the towel, resigned myself to the life I knew, but that wasn't what I wanted. I didn't know how my moment would come, but I knew deep down in my heart that life was meant for more. Life was meant to feel good, and everyone deserves to wake up every day with a passion to conquer life. There are big and small decisions you make every day that can change your life. Some of the small habits that have helped me is moving my body every day in the form of exercise or stretching, fueling my body with either a nutritious smoothie or a meal, writing out or checking off my to-do list every day, getting outside once a day, trying something new once a week, but other things like changing the way I see myself and talking to myself on a daily basis also helps. Telling myself one thing that I like about myself can make a huge difference every single day, because the way you think and feel about yourself will set you up for success. There is no one size fits all answer. It's a variation of habits, behaviors, and conscious decisions, but it is so hard to start making the shift if you're not sure where to start. Today, I want to focus on the 5 things segment on how to begin this journey. All right, y'all, I'm so excited to share these 5 ways to take control of your actions and your choices. First one is extremely vital. Cut things out of your life that are negative or toxic. That's including toxic people, toxic situations, because they can be completely consuming. When you're dealing with this and working your way through it, you just don't have that kind of focus or energy to be able to recognize the signs in your life. In a lot of ways, this triggers your fight or flight response. And there is really not much more you can do beyond the basics. Recognize that if people reveal who they are, you should believe them. If they prove to be a toxic component in your life, let them go. And I want to just share a little bit of my story. So when I started my own journey of self-awareness and to gain control of my life 10 years ago, this was one that I really had to take and do myself. I cut out all the people in my life that were not making me a better person, helping me on a positive path, or helping me with my goals. And it was really challenging to let these people go, because then people think like, oh, she's too good for me now or whatever. But until those people could rise up and meet me at this purposeful, positive path that I decided to take for myself, I felt like there was no need for them in my life. So I had to cut them out. So number 1 is super important, but it is hard to do. Number 2, it's create a community of support. No one can achieve all of their ambitions and goals on an island. It always takes the support of others. I talk about this a lot in the entrepreneur episode that I did, but you need to make sure that you surround yourself with people who will cheer you on and people who will challenge you in a healthy and motivating way. So number 1 and number 2, 1 is getting rid of the toxic people. And number 2 is surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded and who are going to uplift you. Number 3, do something that scares you. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about the leap of faith. There is no guarantee that it'll work out, but this is why it's called what it is called. It is a leap of faith. There is something about these leaps that'll help you gain clarity on what you really want, and also stop yourself from repeating the constant what if cycle and finally see what happens. This may not be the big leap of faith in your life, but even taking the smaller leaps of faith along the way can help you on your journey. Number 4, stop saying you can't do things unless they're physically impossible. Saying you can't trains you to dismiss actionable steps and choices. If something can be done, then do it. At the very least, you need to make an attempt. You need to try. Don't put limitations on yourself with fear that it isn't possible. At the same time, make sure you also have healthy boundaries. You may be confronted with decisions that you don't want to make, and that's just a part of it. If you don't want to do it or you want to make a different choice, say that you won't. Then, most importantly, be at peace with it. I feel like number 3 and number 4 are so important. Number 3, when it talks about taking smaller leaps, even with me this week, it has been a long time since I have signed up for something new. And this week, I signed up for a new workout class. I haven't done something like that in years. But I went in by myself and took a new class. I met new people and I felt so exhilarating to do that. And so it could be something as small as doing something new, taking a leap of faith and creating new friendships or doing something different outside of your comfort zone. And 4, when you can't say can't, you can't say don't. It's just you are what you think. And if you put that limitation on yourself with anything that you do in life, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Number 5, practice prevention and acceptance. Prevention means putting things in place to reduce the possibility that things that you don't want to happen will happen. We can spend a lot of time in the prevention stage of our life. The truth is, it's hard to know whether the things that you're preventing are bad for you or whether they might just be the things that you've been dreaming of. Often, it may actually be nothing at all. In this case, it's time to focus on acceptance because there are and there will always be things that are out of your control. So you just need to let it go. I made a commitment to myself years ago that I would never wake up one day and wonder what I was doing or why I was doing it. I was going to take control of my life and work to see joy, love, and success. I would work to build a beautiful life for my family and a successful business that I could be proud of. I wanted to make my life better, but I also want to help others find self-confidence and be their best selves. I envisioned, which is crazy for me to say, but I envisioned the life that I get to live every day. And it kind of makes me tear up a little bit because it's such a magical thing that I did that for myself. And I truly challenge you to do the same. Make the decision and go for it. Go for it because you won't regret it. Take the leap of faith and never look back. Breathe. I was getting so emotional, so I think it's time to wrap up. That is it for me today, y'all. I know I say this a lot, but please go to Apple Podcast and rate and review Coming Clean. Let me know what you guys think and let me know what you guys want to hear more of because I want to give you guys what you guys want to hear. Y'all are amazing. A big thank you to my team, from the people who help wrangle up Presley from keeping her barging in while I'm filming and my dogs barking over every single line, and my producer back there. You know, she refers to herself as she who should not be named. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you guys next time.